What's going on, everybody? You are listening to the Fantasy Locker Room podcast with your man Cameron and my uncle Craig. Say what's up, Craig.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, we are here. I had to turn it down. You had to get. I felt like you had to scream it. You were trying to.
We have some production going on in the background that I'm not used to.
Yeah, I'm getting fancy in this motherfucker.
We got the bass. Slapping the bass. I'm slapping the bass. All right, man.
Hey, man. So I'll probably be using these sounds a lot throughout the podcast. A whole bunch of different stuff, but hey, you'll get used to it. So starting off, we're gonna talk Week 3 NFL, everybody.
Oh, hold on. All right, I don't think your valued listeners there have forgotten about our little side bet that we made at the end of the last podcast. I just wanted to make sure we brought that out there. My boy Jason Witten.
Yeah, he did. I mean,
your boy Hooper.
Yeah, I'm an idiot for making that bet in the first place, but
I think he's going to be eating a nice spicy habanero salsa live.
So, we made so with our bet. So because I lost, I have to eat like some hot sauce.
I'm not going to make you do a straight habanero pepper, but I found this awesome habanero salsa at this place I went to today, and I was like, you know what, that one brought a tear to my eye, so I'm pretty sure it would burn your butthole.
Listen, dude, I'm dating a Latina. I've tasted some hot shit, and this is gonna be nothing. All right, so it's all good.
All right, we'll see.
It's nothing for me. All
right.
So,
we'll find another bet for this week.
Speaking of how my tongue's gonna be after the hot sauce injuries. All right, let's go ahead and get into injuries that happened in Week 2. Guys who went down, I'm going to have you go ahead and start that up, Craig.
Okay, well, John Brown missed. I think it looks like he's going to miss again. We're not going to spend much time on this game because it's not part of our main slate. It's on Monday night game against Dallas. But we got John Brown looking like he's still going to be out. Jerron Brown is also questionable, but we'll keep going from there. Obviously, the big ones, we got Mr. Greg Olsen. He got put on injured reserve today. He broke his foot. So that's going to affect a lot. I like that matchup this week with New Orleans. So,
oh, yeah, man.
Yeah. Who is his? I think it's Ed Dixon, right? Is coming in for Greg Olsen. Not the sexiest play, but I mean he's pretty cheap. We'll get to it later, I'm sure.
You see a boost in McCaffrey and your main man. But other than that, I like McCaffrey a lot. Obviously, Kelvin Benjamin's going to be solid, but yeah, those two, but definitely are going to get upticks.
Okay. Sure. And then we got Jordan Howard is questionable still with that arm. I think somebody reported that they saw him leaving the game with his arm in a sling. So maybe Tariq Cohen might be even better this week.
Yeah, I was just about to say they have the GOAT Tariq Cohen, the best running back of all time back there. They're fine.
All right. Tyler Eifert is questionable. Corey Coleman got put on injured reserve. He broke his hand. So we'll see how that does with our boy Higgins. He had a lot of targets last week, so we'll talk about him, I'm sure, later.
He's going to be great. I like him.
Also part of the Monday night game, let me just hit it since I'm on that screen right now. We got Dak questionable with the ankle, but I think he's going to play. And then, man, the Cowboys secondary is banged up. I mean, I would wish they were playing just so I could target Arizona's passing attack against Dallas this week. So I may play the Sunday, Monday slate or even the Thursday all the way through slate just to get some exposure to that game.
Yeah, I do that. I do that 6 for 6 deal for my subscribers where I give them 6 lines for the primetime.
Oh, that'll be a fun one, I think, this week.
Be good. Yeah, for sure.
The Sunday night game is Washington-Oakland, and then the Monday night will be that Dallas-Arizona. Yeah, that'll be a fun one this week.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. Washington-Oakland is going to be high scoring. It should be good.
All right, let's keep going here. Benny Fowler, he got removed from that game in a concussion protocol, so he could be missing. It doesn't really affect too much. Hey, we need one of your sound effects, all right? And I might talk about this.
All
right, guys. Y'all know the feeling that you get when you are you are so on a player for a week, you just know he's gonna have the great week, and you just feel it, and you make that connection, and then he puts up a 0 for you. Mr. Jordy Nelson. All right, dude, we gotta stop it because I can barely hear. I don't even know if I don't even
Jordy,
know if I don't
Jordy
even know.
Nelson.
Jordy dang Nelson. I had him. Okay, so I've been maxing out the 20. That I forget the name of it. That 1.6 million
Yeah,
$3
yeah.
entry, 20 entries or whatever. And I had Jordy in 11 of my 20 lineups. It's a miracle that I actually profited a little bit this week. Oh, what's crazy is my most profitable team was a pick'em, and it had Zeke on it. And because I
Wow.
didn't play Zeke on,
Yeah.
I didn't like his price point really, so I was able to avoid him because I liked Kareem Hunt better at his price. So I avoided him on all the main stuff. So on my pick'em, I just went ahead and put him in since it didn't really matter about the price, and I wanted to get some exposure to him. If I would have played Kareem in that, man, I probably would
I
have hit
mean,
for
but
several $100s.
I mean,
And
now after the fact, you look at it and you're like, "Oh man, I made a horrible decision." But before the game started, that's how you expected Dallas to attack them.
right,
And
oh
you
yeah,
you didn't see Broncos coming out and really putting in that work like that.
I
So I
know.
mean, Zeke
Ugh.
was a great play, dude. It is
He
what it is.
was, he was,
Yeah.
and I mean, not for that price necessarily. I definitely wanted to put him in some, but like I said, I didn't get him exposure in the main slate in my tourneys, but in the pick'em, it's like, okay, since I didn't get any exposure, let me get exposure to him in the pick'em, right? So it was my biggest entry fee of the week, and I was on Kareem. It's one of those. It's like, man, I was on Kareem, and I got off of him just to play a Zeke lineup, and if I wouldn't have done that, it would have paid off. But hey, it is what it is. Like you like to say, man, that's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
DFS. That's how it happens.
it
But
is. You got to understand that when you play DFS, you got to just say it. I mean, the best players in the world sometimes just won't show up. So,
But that changed the whole complexion of that game. I mean, we both were huge on that game. That's one of those, man. We went into that night. I was excited. I had some pretty good potential
oh
teams
yeah,
going,
yeah.
and if Jordy doesn't get hurt and goes off,
Oh man,
okay, I
yeah,
think that game stays more
oh,
competitive, and everybody does better.
I
Julio
mean,
does better. Matt does
I
better.
had well, I provide 6 lineups for my lineup subscribers for Sunday main slate, and it's awesome because most of the day I was behind because I played so heavy in the Atlanta Green Bay game, and I loved watching my teams just soar to victory once that game started. Like all of them just go
Yeah.
from like near last to almost all of them cashing. So it
Yeah.
was a good
Oh,
week
and
for me,
Julio
man.
would have been much bigger. I mean,
Oh
they shut
yeah,
him down in the second half.
right.
He had one catch. Thank God he got that last catch in that second half to
Right.
take him over the bonus. That
Yeah,
really
yeah,
saved me.
that was sweet for sure.
Okay, but moving on. Sorry, man, Jordy, you let me down, buddy. But we got to move on. All right, Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb. He's questionable. He had an MRI on his shoulder Monday. He's considered day to day. So we got to look out for that
Yeah,
situation
Randall was a
there.
guy I loved going into that game too. He was very solid before he left. I loved it. I played him in my best lineup I had Randall Cobb. So he ended up
I
being
don't
great.
even know it should waste any time with Houston, but it looks like J.J. Watt's questionable. Defense, sorry, shouldn't have brought him up. But Will
Yeah.
Fuller's still out. I can't wait for him to get back, man. I'm still hopeful that Houston can actually put together some decent. I'm actually on DeAndre Hopkins this week. We'll
Oh
talk about
yeah.
that later, though.
Oh, me too, big
Uh,
time. Yeah, we'll get to it.
okay, and Steven Anderson, Ryan Griffin, tight end, still out for Houston. All right, Andrew Luck still out. Uh, Let's see.
Oh
Anybody
yeah,
else of
we
note?
got
I'm
our
looking through the big list
Higgins for
here.
Cleveland shined. So with Coleman breaking his hand again, Higgins should shine as long as Kaiser's not starting, because it wasn't
Dude, you
Kaiser in there throwing to him.
well, he went down with a migraine and then he
Right.
came back. Um, oh, that was my other mistake of the week. So look, I only profited $20 this week. You know how I play several hundred. So
Yeah.
today, this was not a bad week. I profited like 20 total. So that's pretty bad for me. But uh, you know how I was coming home from work that day and I was talking to you on the way home? and I was like, man, I got stuck at work super late. I only got like an hour to make changes and look at my stuff. I haven't got to look at it at all. And you know
Right.
how I was on that Minnesota game, and I was just like believing that Bradford was going to play and it was good, and then the inactives came out and he was inactive, and I had to go and change so much stuff last second, dude, in my tired phase, like
Right.
tinker phase. I just jacked up all my lineups, and then I went over to Yahoo. I know you hate Yahoo, and I'm not
Yeah.
recommending to anybody to play Yahoo because it's not nearly as good as DraftKings as far
No.
as the user interface. I mean, it's just DraftKings is the best. But I still do Yahoo out of some loyalty because I hit a big one there a few years ago. But I had Carson Wentz on all my Yahoo, and like last second, I'm just like, freak it. I think Carson Wentz is going to be chalk based on the pricing that they had, and I was playing some GPPs single entry. So I just wanted to be different. I went stupid, and I would put in Kaiser last second instead of
Oh.
Wentz on all of them,
Oh man. Yeah.
just so I could go up from Buck Allen to my boy Tariq Cohen. So it
Dang.
double whammied me,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Plus I had Jordy on all of those teams as well. So yeah, my Yahoo was a stinker.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I'm sorry. All right. Rob Gronkowski's questionable. Chris Hogan questionable. Dorsett's questionable. Danny Amendola's still
Whole
questionable.
New England offense is questionable.
Right. So I'm playing James White this
I
week.
mean,
James White is my
honestly,
man.
I think New England still finds a way to score quick and a lot of Gillisley, but we'll get into we'll get
Gillis,
into all that.
yeah, okay. Let's go. I'm just looking for major offense guys. There's a bunch of defensive injuries we could get into later, but
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and
you know
start.
what? Those are the
Start right
main.
now.
Those are the main. Let's go ahead
Yeah,
and get
pretty
going.
much. I mean, he didn't really miss anybody. Yeah, it was there was a lot of injuries on the defensive end too, so we'll touch into that as we're going, but it is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and start off at quarterback. Let's talk about our favorite plays. We'll work our way down the list. How do you feel about Tom Brady against Houston? My personal thoughts on it, and I just posted the video on YouTube talking about it, and Tom Brady, for me, I'm just not really liking it. I went back and I looked at his history versus Houston. In 2 years versus Houston, he averages 17 fantasy points against them.
Right.
And they're good against the
So
pass.
so two things. This is definitely not New England versus New Orleans, right? So Houston's defense is still legit. If JJ Watt is playing this week, plus their offense is so horrible. I mean, this is just the kind of game where I don't have to pay up for Tom Brady. Even after the week he just had, I still think he's going to be solid and safe for cash. You can never count out Tom Brady. But in a GPP and even in cash, I mean, I'm probably going to shy away from him this week.
Yeah, he's not somebody that really excites me, especially with the type of options we have at the cheaper range. I mean,
Right.
it's just out of this world type value for quarterback. So, yeah,
I
I'm not going to
agree.
spend up for any of these top guys. Speaking of
You know,
top
Aaron
guys,
Rodgers,
yeah,
same kind of situation, right? Like
right.
Cincinnati hasn't been that good.
If
They're
anything,
banged
if
up.
anything, I like Andy Dalton. Honestly,
Right.
like in this game, I like Andy Dalton because I think they're gonna have to throw a lot. I think AJ Green has the bigger game of the year for him. Finally, he breaks out, I think, and I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm not into Aaron Rodgers. I like Ty Montgomery again. So
Oh, gotcha. So no Drew for you. You're not
no,
jumping on Drew.
Drew Brees against Carolina. No thanks. I mean,
Yeah.
I might have a little bit at 7,200 because I mean Carolina's gonna score even without Greg Olsen. And Breeze is going to have to throw. This could end up being a close matchup here. Um,
Right. But I easily skipped the top three this week,
yeah.
honestly. And then these next four are all in play for
Oh
me.
hell yeah.
Matt Ryan, Derek Carr, Cam Newton, and Rivers. I like all of their potential this week. I like this Atlanta Detroit game. That's one of the highest games of the week. I think it's second highest of the week, maybe even the highest. Let me pull that out. Uh,
It's the second
uh,
highest. Oakland, Washington's the highest. So
Oakland, Washington's the highest. Yeah,
yeah,
54.
that
And then
Washington
that one's
secondary
49 and a half.
garbage, even with Norman. So I mean, I think Crabtree goes crazy. I mean, he did great last week, and I think that Norman will shadow Cooper. So I think Crabtree could have another very solid game in this one.
Yeah, I slept on Crabtree last week, man. And sometimes I get the game flow wrong, and when I do, hey, I just got to chalk it up like I didn't call it
Right.
that week and move on to
I
the
mean,
next week.
yeah,
So
that is what it is because game flow is one of the more important things to try to keep in mind. You know,
they just worked them though. I
yeah,
mean, Oakland destroyed.
yeah, it was ugly.
So yeah, Crabtree had 3 touchdowns or something.
Yeah,
I really like Cam. That's the best matchup you can have right now is
he's
against
losing
New
his.
Orleans
He
at
lost his
home.
boy Olsen, but
I
he's
know.
got
I feel
enough
you.
weapons to be able to. Yeah, and he's gonna have to throw the ball here against New Orleans. It could be good. I mean, but we're gonna touch on some quarterbacks I would still rather more. But I do
Yeah.
like the matchup. It's a sexy matchup. Don't get me wrong. If Greg Olsen was playing, I'd like it even more because I would expect Olsen to go nuts. But since he's not, I mean, obviously Benjamin McCaffrey, those guys are in play. But you know, so you like Phillip Rivers, huh?
Yeah. So, man, Kansas City's just been super tough. They're good offensively right now. So, I like Rivers in this game script. I think that this is going to be a competitive game. I think Kansas City is going to score and possibly get up and keep Rivers competitive and throwing the ball, and he's got good weapons to throw to. So, Rivers is in play for me at that price is really good. He's not my favorite option, but he's definitely worthy of consideration.
Right.
I'm skipping over Russell Wilson,
Oh
man.
yeah,
I'm
me
I'm
too.
too scared.
Me
I'm
too.
actually playing. In a lot of the builds that I've built already, I'm playing Tennessee defense. And it might seem,
It does sound
not
crazy, but I
wise.
mean,
It does, right?
GPP, anything goes. So
Yeah, I like their price, and man, the offensive line for Seattle is just
yeah, Russell
not
was having
doing
to
any
move
good.
around so much. Like he was getting pressured so much last week. Oh, he couldn't do shit. And you know what? You know what I noticed, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Ever since Russell Wilson got some vagina from Sierra, he has never been the same. Do you not agree?
But can you blame him? Can you blame him?
I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
come on.
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Sierra is, yeah. But still, like, dude.
speaking of Sierra, okay, so you're new at this. I mean, you're in a committed relationship, so maybe you're down with that. But do you have one of those celebrity hall pass lists, where it's like
Hell
the
yeah.
list
Well,
of
I don't.
celebrities where you're allowed to hook up with and you
Yeah,
can't get in trouble
yeah.
with? Do you and Selena each have
Of
that?
course, J Lo is on my
Who,
list.
who's okay? J Lo.
She's
Who
my
else?
favorite. Oh shit, there's so many.
So many.
There's so
Look,
many,
I got a
dude.
I got a question for you. I was just thinking about this. Uh, do you think your aunt should be worried that 5 of the members of my list are African American males? Russell. I mean,
What?
it's Russell Wilson is one of them.
Wow, you got
Dak
man crush.
Prescott,
Wow.
Chris Paul, Steph Curry,
Wow.
and I'm not gonna say the last one. It's a little embarrassing, but
What?
we'll
Say it.
move on.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
Uh,
Wow, that was.
all right, Jameis Winston. We'll throw Jameis in there. All right.
Oh, Jameis Winston.
I love my running quarterbacks.
Yeah,
What can I say?
yeah.
So
There's.
yeah. Do you think she should be worried? Hopefully
I think
not.
she should, because I think she should because you sound like you're really into him. If you have anything to say, now's your time.
Okay,
Go ahead.
babe. I love you. Okay. It's just I love athletic quarterbacks more, and that's just how it's gonna be. Okay.
Hey, she
I love my
gives.
family.
Look,
We got those daughters. We
she,
created 3 beautiful daughters. But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
come on.
There's nothing better than a
Yeah.
good mobile quarterback on your side. I'm with you. I mean,
Dude, that's what our new segment should be. A hall pass segment. These are the 5 these are our 5
I mean,
favorite of the
the
week.
thing is, I busted out a female, and you talked about like 6 athletic men that are all like much bigger than you. So, like they would all just dominate you. No.
Oh gosh.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't like that image. Ugh.
Yeah,
All right,
that's gross,
let's move
dude.
on.
All right, all right.
Let's
Yeah.
get off
Anyways,
my
yeah.
the men
No
that I
more,
love and
no more talking about how much you
get to
love
the
men.
quarterbacks of the week.
Yeah,
All
let's do it.
right.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So I love if I'm talking about my favorite quarterback of week 3 would be Matthew Stafford at home in Detroit
Yeah.
in his own dome. He plays great at home, and he's going against an Atlanta team with no secondary. How do you feel about that assessment?
Yeah, man. At that price, you know, I'm tempted to put him on my hall pass list. That's how much I like him
Right,
this week. All
right.
right. All right. He might just kick Russell Wilson out of
I don't
that
think he
spot.
runs fast enough for you. Like you, I don't think you'd like him enough because he's not as
Dude,
athletic as you like.
like he's got the money though.
He does. He damn sure does. Shit.
All right, right below him, dude. I like Jay Cutler this week too.
Do you? I think that
I'd be willing to play
just
quite a bit of
like,
both of these
oh
guys.
God, I'm not getting involved with that game, dude. The only way I'm getting
You're
involved
not?
with that game is Jay Ajayi or Bilal Powell, and I really don't like Bilal Powell. I'll probably go Jay Ajayi though. I like him.
No, I feel you.
It just
Man,
looks like it's
and I
gonna.
thought the same thing. Like
Yeah.
I know, I thought the same thing about Oakland. That's why I was off Carr and Crabtree. I was
Right.
like, this is probably going to be kind of a easy game for Oakland. It was, but they still went off, and man, Jay and them
You're
might
right.
go
I mean,
off. I
he
mean,
could connect with Jarvis a bunch of times, a bunch of touchdowns with Devontae. Hey, I'm not putting it past them. The Jets looked horrible against Oakland. Oakland wasn't even trying to score anymore, and they just kept scoring. So
yeah, Landry had 15
yeah, he
targets
got targeted like
last
a
week.
motherfucker. He did for sure. I mean, and I
So
love Jarvis Landry in PPR. He's one of my favorite receivers to have on my fantasy team in my leagues, and I play him a lot in DFS too. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go Cutler, I would say pair him up with Landry or Devontae. Either one, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
I mean, DraftKings is more PPR, so I'd lean towards Jarvis here and from the slot against the Jets. But all
yeah.
right, so
I'm gonna be cool on Jameis. Minnesota defense
yeah,
is still
no, they're
pretty
too solid.
tough
But
at
Kirk
Minnesota.
Cousins at home in Washington going against Oakland, I love that. I mean, you
Yeah.
see Oakland's offense moving the ball. It's one of the highest project. It is the highest projected total. Kirk Cousins is going to be a very solid play at 61.
Oh, speaking of, I think we did miss a couple injury news. I think Reed is also questionable, and so is Jimmy Graham.
I mean,
So
Reed
another
has
tight
like a
ends for their.
permanent concussion.
Yeah.
He literally just no, it doesn't matter. Like he could get flicked in his head and have a concussion and miss a game. Like so,
Right,
he's one
right.
of those type of guys.
Pull a Jordy on us,
Exactly.
start the game, make
Exactly.
us get all
And that's what I'm
excited,
worried
and
about. I'm worried about playing him in my DFS and he play like one snap. So
right,
I don't
right. You
play him
already
much anymore.
look. We gotta do this. I'm calling it out now, and I should have probably waited, but look, how much of beer goggles was Jordy Nelson for me?
Oh.
All right, he got me. He danced with me on the dance floor at the club. All right, he ordered the Uber
Wow. He
to
paid
take me
for
to
your
his
Uber.
place.
Wow.
He called the Uber.
Wow.
All right, we got in the car.
Wow.
All right, and he dropped me off at my damn house, dude.
He didn't bring you to the house with him?
He did not
Damn.
bring me home with him at all. All right, I'm talking.
You were beer goggles for him.
Yeah, I have blue balls after
Oh
that
my
one. All right,
God.
that's how bad it is.
There is too much
All right.
infatuation with men.
Dude, he was good.
People say
That might have made my season. All right, if he plays and
Yeah.
tears it
Oh,
up.
no,
So,
yeah.
that's
If Jordy
horrible.
plays and does what you expect him to do, dude, I would have won. Maybe even
And
over
then
1,000.
Julio does what he does.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I was all in that game, all kinds of ways.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, all right, let's get off it.
Okay.
All right,
Anyways, let's
where
just
we
skim
at?
through because there's
Jameis
there's
Winston.
not as many sexy options now.
Well, we still got to talk. We're gonna pass over Winston and Mariota. I'm not gonna be on them
Yeah,
this
no,
week.
me
If they
either.
go off, then I lose.
Wentz against the Giants. How do you feel?
I don't like the Giants matchup, but Wentz has been solid, man, and I need to stop sleeping on that guy. So I'm gonna have at least a couple with him in it, and I am not gonna change my mind on it this week. I don't care that his matchup is bad.
Run game, and that's the good thing.
Exactly.
He has
It's
to
all
throw.
Wentz.
He threw.
Plus he runs. He runs a little
He
bit.
threw over 40 passes last week.
Right.
Like you can't help but
So
get over
I'm
300 that over 300-yard bonus when you're throwing 46 passes.
exactly.
So
And look, here's my deal with Wentz. I don't even need to necessarily stack him. You know what? If I'm playing a Wentz, I'll stack him with Ertz. You know what I mean?
right.
I don't have to stack him with one of those wide receivers
No. Yeah.
necessarily, and
No,
because
I
I like
agree
a
with
lot
you.
of other
I
wide
agree with you
receivers
because
this
if you
week.
looked at the New England, if you watched, I'm sorry, the New York Giants, if you watched the Giants Detroit game, that was a tight end battle. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? It was
Exactly.
Ebron and Ingram going back and forth. So yeah, I think Ertz could be very solid with Wentz. I think that I definitely see them connecting for a TD. So that's a good little stack at 59.
I think Alex Smith is also in play, and then Trevor Simeon for sure. It's time to stop sleeping on him too.
Yeah, but against
Uh,
Buffalo, like, Buffalo's a
I
team
know.
that,
I
like,
we thought.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. All I'm saying is I'm not avoiding them altogether. Everybody else on the list, except for maybe when you get to the very bottom, I might play some Jacoby Brissett and Deshaun Kaisers,
dude,
just in some
I'm
GPP type stuff.
all over Andy Dalton.
You
I'm
are?
not all over him like the way you like to be all over the players, like literally. But like I'm all over him when it comes to playing him. Like I love Dalton against Green Bay. Green Bay is going to get up at home in Green Bay, and I see a lot of Dalton AJ. I think they finally get it going here. I mean, look, I could be wrong, but I can't see how they won't fall behind here and have to air it out every play. And I think AJ and him connect a lot. So I think he's a good play at 51.
Yeah, oh man, AJ's gonna have a big game. You want to be on it when it
Right, and
happens.
this has got to be
If
it.
this is the week after
Yeah,
two, you know what I mean, bad ones. I mean, Green Bay is missing. I'm looking at some of their defensive injuries at this point. They're missing quite a bit.
yeah.
Man, they lost some tackles though too. Oh man, I don't know, dude. I might be off of Rodgers. Oh, okay, sorry, that doesn't affect that. My bad. I'm getting on sidetracked. I was just saying, I was just looking at the game script. I'm like, man, I don't know if
Yeah,
how Aaron in Green Bay is actually going to move and score the ball very good with all these
yeah,
injuries.
for real.
But Cincinnati's just not that good
They're
this year.
bad.
I don't know. I haven't paid too much attention to them,
I don't
especially even with their defense.
honestly, I don't think they're that bad. I think they just haven't got it right yet. And I think this Cincinnati offense is good. They just haven't, like we said, they haven't got it right yet. And against Green Bay is a perfect time to do so. So I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, it's gonna happen this week versus Green Bay. I
Yeah,
definitely I can't see AJ going three straight duds. Like he's
right,
gonna have a
right.
big one. It's time. So I'm predicting it now.
It's gonna I it depends on these injury situation. If Green Bay can't move the ball and that offensive line is horrible. Green Bay's defense, I know they got smacked by Atlanta, but the Green Bay's defense seems to be improved, and I could see this game being pretty low scoring, honestly. Like I would be, what's the over under on that game? That game is 45 and a half. So I would bet the under on that. It still has Green Bay favored by 10. So
That's
wow.
yeah. That I
Yeah,
mean that
with those injuries, I mean, I
they're
just
at
you know
home
how
in Green Bay. Like literally, Aaron Rodgers could have no offensive line and just hike the ball with nobody protecting him and throw for 400 yards at Lambeau.
I do like your boy Montgomery. See, man, I
Yeah,
went back and listened to our podcast last week. If we would have just played our favorites, we would have like killed it,
like going
dude. I was
crazy.
on
Yeah,
Cream, you were on
yeah,
Montgomery. We were
yeah.
loving that,
I mean, no, I
and
played Montgomery in nearly every line. So no, matter of fact, I played
yeah,
him in every
me
line.
too.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
ended up being
I
great.
skipped him like just a couple. I was on luckily I was on C.J. Anderson, so
Yeah,
that
that was
saved my
all
day
right.
on a
So
lot. But
are
anyways,
we safe to say
running
that we're
backs.
good? Yeah, let's go ahead and touch running backs.
Okay.
All right.
How do you feel about Le'Veon, man?
Oh, Le'Veon just hasn't done anything for me. Um, I mean,
He's got a good matchup this
he finally
week.
got his attempts. He finally got 27 touches. So against Minnesota, he racked up 87. I think he could get much more than that against Chicago. I think this is the game that Le'Veon goes crazy. Honestly, I think this might be it right here. Against Chicago, they're just garbage, and I think Pittsburgh gets up, and there's going to be a lot of Le'Veon. And the fact he just got 27 finally puts that worry behind what he did to me in week 1 with 10 attempts. So finally, it looks
Right.
like he's there.
And his price finally
Right.
corrected. I mean, it shouldn't have been 98 last
No.
week, after the
And
week he put
against me.
up. So now it dropped 1,000.
Right.
So he's back in play, I
Yeah.
think, for sure. I'm still on Kareem. I know it says that the Chargers are the top ranked opponent, but
I mean,
I'm not really
honestly,
buying that
these
this early in
rankings
the
on
year.
DraftKings are bullshit. I mean, I've seen a
Yeah,
bunch of them say top, but I know that it's not. So, I mean, if you know I
right.
mean, a lot of this, like people who are new to DFS, if they don't really know football and watch often and really know this shit, and they just look at the ranking on DraftKings, it could really steer them wrong a lot. Because a lot of that
Right,
shit just,
right.
I mean, you look at Jay Ajayi versus the Jets. Yes, in recent years they have been very good versus the running backs, but this year I wouldn't shy away at all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I mean that's just a prime
yeah,
matchup. I mean, even Oakland between the two of them had like 2 or 3 touchdowns and busted off some long
right.
runs. They're like second and third string guy out there. So yeah, I like Jay Ajayi. He's in a great spot. This is definitely a week that I'm going to be
Do you
playing
think
him,
that
and there
do
aren't
you
too many
think
of
that your
those.
boy McCoy does Denver how Zeke should have?
Oh man, hey, I need a sound effect for when you bring up Zeke's
Oh,
name.
I got
We
you.
got
Sorry.
it.
I mean, I know. Especially
Uh,
you being a Cowboy fan, I know you're hurt about it.
that game hurt me entirely too much. Honestly, though, there's some takeaways. We'll get to this, but man, we're gonna have to throw this
Oh
this
yeah.
year. It's not just because of like our offensive line is still great. Don't get me wrong, and Zeke is gonna have some beast games, but our defense
Look,
is just
here's the
not
problem, and
good.
let's go ahead and talk about this right now. The problem is, listen, the problem is that last year you guys draft Zeke, okay? And Zeke is a great play, don't get me wrong. He's a great pickup. Look at him. He went crazy his rookie year. But is that really what you needed? I mean, why not get cornerbacks and bump
I
up that
know.
secondary?
Ugh.
The problem,
And we let Carr
the
go, but
problem is that Dallas just allows everything through the airs to the point where they just don't have like they have to throw to keep
we're
up.
just we're just super banged up right
Yeah,
now. Skandrick's been
I
out,
can't
and
wait. I
we got our
cannot.
other
I am
guys.
going to be going to Atlanta for the Dallas Atlanta game. I'm
Oh wow.
super excited about that, and I get to go to I'm gonna go
I'm
to the new stadium.
super scared about that. I don't want to
Yeah,
bet a salsa
y'all
bet on
y'all
who
are
wins
gonna
that
get
game.
thrashed. My Falcons looked
We'll
so
see.
good, man.
We'll see.
I love them.
Oh gosh,
Dude,
that
I
game should
mean,
have turned
look,
out so much.
do you want to just agree with me right now that the Falcons are going back to the Super Bowl? Wow.
No, I don't. I'm
All right.
gonna wait to
All right.
decide. Listen, I will tell you this. And this is straight up for real, not just because you're my nephew
What's
and
up?
all that stuff. I like Atlanta, and if Dallas for some reason gets bounced out or whatever, I'm pulling super
Good.
hard for Atlanta.
Good.
So I'm with you
Good.
on that. I like them. I think they
We're
deserve
getting
it.
our revenge this year,
Uh,
for sure.
right, right.
For sure.
We'll
It's gonna
see. I don't.
happen. Like,
We'll see. We'll see if you get by the Cowboys.
yeah,
Let's just wait and see what
yeah.
happens. I
That's the
don't know.
easiest
I
game
don't
of the
want our
year,
secondary up against the Atlanta Falcons right
dude.
now. That is
That's the
not something that
easiest game of the
excites me.
year. All
Oh
right.
God, let's
All
keep
right.
going.
So let's
Let's
go
keep
ahead and touch
going.
on Ty Montgomery. I mentioned him. Green Bay is going to get up in this one. I think Ty Montgomery has another great game here.
He is game script
Yeah.
proof, man.
Yeah.
He gets the ball when they're
It
up,
doesn't
when they're
matter.
down,
Yeah.
passing. Yeah, I
He's
love
all
Ty.
around the man.
Uh, Last week he was a locked in play at
Oh yeah.
58. At 69, he might not be locked for me, but he's
There's some
still
great cheaper
very
options.
close.
Like, and we'll touch on them in a minute. But I
Yeah,
have a man crush on one of these guys, and when I start talking about him, I might just have to mute my mic because
like hall pass or
yeah, like
not.
hall pass love. Like, okay, we'll get to him. Devontae Freeman going
All
against
right,
Detroit. I like that too. I mean, because
me
yeah,
too.
he gets involved in both. I like the game period. Um, Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey's price seems high to me, but he's got the best matchup. But I think I'm still going to be avoiding that for now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll have some exposure to him, but it'll be like very small exposure, honestly. Marshawn Lynch. The problem with Marshawn is he's just not getting the run as I want to see. I think if he was getting the 20 plus touches, I'd be interested, but he's not getting enough run. He got 18
Yeah,
and then 12.
But his sideline dance game is on point.
Oh yeah, he was killing it. He was killing it, dude. It's been a minute since I've seen him with Skittles. By the way, is he like on a diet or something? What's up with that?
I don't know, man. Maybe he switched to M&Ms. All right, Dalvin Cook. I don't like the matchup. Tampa Bay's D does look legit. So I don't know. C.J. Anderson's in play for me.
Look solid, but if Sam Bradford plays, that doesn't make you like Cook more.
If he plays, I like Minnesota. Period. Right. I'll jump back on a lot of those guys, but if he doesn't play, Tampa Bay defense is in play for me. And I'll probably avoid a lot of the Minnesota guys.
I know you. I know CJ pulled through for you in week 2. Are you going back to the well week 3 against Buffalo?
I am for sure.
Wow, I'm not. He can suck it.
You're scared of him, so we disagree. Okay, hey, all right. We'll keep him in mind for like a little prop bet later on. All right. CJ's my man. So, I mean, Jamal does scare me with his touches, eating into that a little bit, but man, he's just been solid workhorse, and I like Denver's. I think they're going to be in the running back script most of the year with that great defense and the way that they play. So CJ's good. I think this is one of the last weeks we get at this sub 6,000 price. I think I could see him jumping into the 7,000 range
he's get up
very easily.
He's been getting a lot of run. He's been very, very solid. I agree with you there. Mike Gillislee for New England. I think this is one of the offensive guys I really am heavy on when it comes to New England. I like him against Houston. Yeah, because, I mean.
Okay, hey, can that be our bet?
No, come on. I have another guy that
last week I gave you $100. Who's your other guy?
My other guy's more of a sleeperish guy. I'm not 100% on him, but I love him a lot. Like I'm gonna play him for sure. Okay, you know what? Let me talk about him. All right.
Okay, let
me talk about him. All right, Theo Riddick. At home in Detroit against the worst defense against pass catching backs in a very good game script. I think Theo Riddick goes absolutely nuts.
Oh, I like it. So would you do that bet, CJ versus Theo?
Actually, yeah, why not? It's PPR, so I'll go ahead and run it with you. I don't care. I mean, shit, dude.
All right.
I lose every time.
Doubling down on the habanero bet. Or do we want to find something else?
We'll find something else. We'll figure something else out.
This time we'll tweet it out for your viewers and let them vote. We'll put out some options and let them vote on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, for a punishment bet.
Fine. I'm not gonna lose because Riddick's about to have a great game. But I mean, I think you're obviously on the more safe side because you know Anderson's gonna get the ball a certain amount of times. Riddick's gonna get those passes, but I kind of need Riddick to get 1 to 2 catching touchdowns to really make it safe.
Here's what I'll do. I'll do CJ and James White, and you do Theo and Gillislee. You want to do that? Does that sound a little better to you?
Yeah, I can do that. So
I get James White from New England. You get Gillislee.
New England's so banged up. James White, the only guy who can catch.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're up by 20.
Listen, we'll talk about it later. All right. Right now, we need to keep going. All right. Tyreek.
Okay. Cohen. All right. Well, we skipped over Tyreek.
The best running back of all time. I will never forget him. This dude's at home in Chicago going against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to move the ball with ease. I like Tyreek once again. How do you feel?
Yeah, so I'm still in love with this guy. He's going to have another week where he blows up, and I don't want to miss it when it happens. I missed it the first time, and I don't want to miss it again. Fool me once, shame on
shame on
twice, shame on me. Yeah, so shame on me. So Do-do-do-ba-do-do-dum.
right, bro.
Yeah. So, anyways, Tariq is in play. Like I said,
Look,
I do like
look.
James
Let
White.
me tell you something. The best player, if you're trying to save money, the best running back value wise is Theo Riddick, and it's not even close. When you're looking at this slate, Theo Riddick is going to be a guy I put in a lot of my lineups. He's got amazing upside, and he's only 5,100. I mean, do you agree, or is there somebody cheaper that you're looking at?
Oh yeah, there's a couple
Okay,
guys
who?
cheaper that I'm looking at. So don't get me wrong, I do like Theo Riddick, and I like pairing him with our boy Stafford. So it's gonna happen. I'm gonna play him in a several
Right.
spots, right? But I'm still gonna mix him in with Abdullah. So even on his own team, I don't know if he's gonna be the best. But
Wow, you think
dude,
Abdullah's really
I'm
gonna?
on. I think there's potential for Abdullah to be better. Look, that's not the hot take I'm
Okay.
trying to get. I just
Yeah.
threw his name out there. All right, my guy, honestly, is Chris Thompson. We got Rob Kelly banged up, all right, with like a hurt rib, possibly broken. They said it might not be broken. I don't know, but he's probably gonna miss some time. So you got two guys from Washington right there. That Sam J. Perrine,
Right.
uh,
I
is
think
that? Am I
say his
pronouncing that
name P
right?
Ryan. I think.
Okay, P. Ryan. Thank you. Sorry, that's right. I knew I
Yeah.
screwed that one up. But anyways, 4,500 for him and for Chris Thompson in what's supposed to be the highest game of the week.
Oh yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
our
yeah.
boy Kelly misses
I'm glad
time,
you brought up Thompson, dude. And I don't want you to get all the shine talking about him, so I'm just like gonna like over talk you for a second.
yeah, go for it.
Thompson at 45, I love it. I do love it. I love him
Yeah.
and Riddick. I'm gonna pair him up on all my lines. Winning.
Uh, what would you do? Would you ever, man, I'm thinking about this. Would you, let's say Rob Kelly misses, would you do any Sam J. P. Ryan and Chris Thompson as your running backs and just get all of Washington run
No,
ground game?
no,
You would not
hell
do
no.
that? You've
I
never
mean,
done that?
it's definitely a situation where you'd stick out. I mean, in GPP, you can do literally every. You can play my grandma on GPP because it really just doesn't matter. You're just she might go out there and get lucky and throw a bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Look,
look, in GPP you can do anything.
can you answer? I need you to answer
What?
this. Who in the hell is Rex Burkhead?
Who is?
How does that guy come in
You
there
don't
and catch a
listen. You
touchdown
don't know
pass?
Rex Burkhead? Jesus. Rex Burkhead is like one of the receiving guys there. Like he's just as good.
Oh, he's garbage. Why is he
He
getting
is
run and
just as
play?
good
It's
as
so
James White.
frustrating.
This dude's a catching back, dude.
You think he's
Yeah,
gonna come out of nowhere and start
I
getting
think he
stuff?
will, especially now. They're so banged up.
Dude, when he caught that touchdown, at first I thought it was Gronk. I was like, but I was like, man, that's a short ass
Oh,
Gronk.
you know what? Matter of fact, while we're on the running backs, before I switch over, I do want to mention Duke Johnson. It looked like he started getting some good targets toward the end of that game. I know that you never know with him, but going against the Colts, Colts just really can't stop anything. But their offense is so bad, you really don't know if they're gonna. But I mean, Brissett's been going in there and doing okay, so Duke Johnson could actually be decent. I mean, he got 6 targets. I mean, you want a
Right.
little more than that, but that catch he made was ridiculous. Did you see that on highlights? I
No, I
literally
missed it.
caught it. I
I
saw
missed
it
that
on
one.
Red Zone. He made like an Odell times 2 catch. Like it was
Oh wow.
ridiculous.
Hey, we passed over a couple
Okay.
guys. Jaquiz Rogers, good value. He's still got the
Ah, I
full-time
don't.
starting
I'm not gonna
job
recommend him. I
there.
refuse. That's a hard matchup.
You
Oh,
refuse to
tough
recommend him to
matchup, dude.
some. It is. But he's still a full-time back, gonna get all
Right.
the
I mean, if you look at
workload.
workload, yeah, he's gonna get it.
But yeah. Oh, and another dude that's banged up is DeMarco Murray. If DeMarco Murray were to be out or limited, I think Derrick Henry.
Oh
I know the
yeah,
matchup's
I
horrible
like him.
this week, but Henry getting a full workhorse type of role would be pretty nice on that Tennessee team, in
No,
my
I
opinion.
totally
So,
agree. He did. I
anyways,
mean, he did solid last week, so he's definitely in play if he ends up missing. So I'm with it. I'm definitely with it.
cool. You want to
Yeah,
switch
yeah.
over to
Let's
wide
start at wide
receiver?
receiver right now. All right, so Starting off with my boy Hooli. I know they have Darius Slay.
Julio!
Hooli.
No.
I love Hooli. I mean, I know. Look, he's going to be matched up
Nah.
with Darius Slay. I understand. But Julio Jones is an alien, and he can do anything to anybody. Deion Sanders in his prime would not be able to stop Julio Jones. And that's wrong for me to say because he was our boy in Atlanta, but still. I mean,
He was our boy in
well,
Dallas too,
yeah,
so
but
yeah,
look,
yeah.
Julio's
Neither
solid,
was
dude.
I.
Julio's solid. My whole thing though is that I think Mohamed Sanu gets involved a lot in this game. I really do. I think
Good
Mohamed
call.
Sanu,
I could
even
see
maybe
that.
some Taylor Gabriel, Devontae Freeman for sure. But yeah, I like Mohamed Sanu. He's a little sleeper guy this week.
So last week I locked in Julio,
Yeah,
and I
yeah, me
never
too.
do that, but I was all in. This week I'm still in, but I'm not gonna be locking him in on 100%. I'll put him in probably. We're looking at probably like 40%. I'm gonna go. He'll still probably be one of my highest played
Yeah,
guys of the week.
I'll have exposure. I mean, yeah, because there's really not a bunch of names on here that stick out too much to me. I mean, in that same game, I love Golden Tate at 6,900. Atlanta struggles against slot receivers, and Tate could be a very solid option for Detroit at 6,900.
Yeah, like I'm just loving pairing the
Oh,
Stafford stack
oh
with
man,
Julio. Like it's just calling
yeah,
my name
that
this
game
week.
period,
So
man. And yeah,
we'll see.
getting involved with Oakland's offense and Washington's offense, all that shit. But okay, here we go. Antonio Brown against Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago, we'll have to see how weather plays and the wind and all that stuff. But th- I, s- I imagine that Pittsburgh is heavily favored. Okay, they're 7.5 point favorites. Yeah, it's not the best spot for Antonio, in my opinion. There's a trend that's showing like the number one wide receiver against Chicago underperforms quite often. So, you know,
I mean,
I'm
the
not going to be
reason
on him.
why though,
But
the
he's one
reason
of those
why is
guys he
because
could
teams are
blow
getting up.
up.
It's not that their defense
Right,
is good at all. They're matter of fact, they can't stop
right,
shit. But yeah,
right.
I mean Pittsburgh's gonna get up and it's gonna be a lot of Le'Veon. I do love Le'Veon.
I mean, Mike Evans performed well against
Oh
them
yeah,
this past week, 7 for
solid.
93
Yeah.
and a touchdown. So, I mean, imagine Antonio could just go off. But don't you feel like at some point Le'Veon's going to get involved? It's going to be a Le'Veon game.
Yeah.
Doesn't this
Oh
feel
no,
like a
no, this is
Le'Veon
gonna
type
be
of
it. I
game
mean, he
more than
got
an
27
Antonio?
touches last week, and this week he's gonna get about the same. So yeah, they
Right.
finally unleashed him, and I think it's time for sure, for sure.
Right. So for me, I'd just rather find the 300 and put in Julio if I'm going that high on a wide receiver. So, but I love Antonio. He's actually he was the last one on my list. I threw in Jameis out of didn't want to give y'all my number one, but it was really Antonio Brown's my number one on my hall pass list, and that's for
Right,
real.
he was amazing on Dancing with the Stars.
Dude, if you ever blow up and like get famous and stuff from
Uh-huh.
these podcasts or whatever, you're not gonna be able to get any of these guys. Like you got that little weirdo
Right.
on your podcast talking about getting a
Who
hall
was that
pass with
dude talking
like.
about when he was talking? No, I mean, all the reviews I've been getting is people love it. They love you and me together. So hey, we got to keep giving it to them. All right. So
Yes, keep this
all
thing
right. So
growing,
let's
going.
go ahead
All
and
right. I'm
uh,
not on Odell at all, man. His price should be his price could be like 3,000 and I still wouldn't be on him.
yeah, I mean the fact that he's Odell Beckham, if you have him in your fantasy league, I say start him. Don't get cute. I mean, you start guys like Julio, Antonio, and Odell, AJ if you have them every week in a season long, just because. But speaking of Odell, right under Odell, AJ Green against Green Bay. I talked about him at 8,100. I love him. I mean, he's a $1,200 discount from Julio, and I think he's got that same upside against Green Bay. I like it, man. I'm big
Yeah,
on AJ.
I'm I'm waiting and seeing. Like I said, I'd put Julio on 40%. I might get AJ at 10%.
Yeah,
nervous
and
about
I
him
think a lot
in
of
this
people will be.
this
And I'm not going to
offense.
go super heavy, but I will have some solid exposure because I think this is the week, and I think a lot of people are sleeping. So I think he could end up really being a
Yeah,
deal
and
breaker. Yeah,
it would be a good week
for sure.
to get him. Yeah, I agree with that. And if it seems like he's going to be, super low owned kind of stuff, and people aren't talking about him, hyping him up, I might jump up my percentages just to try to go over, But I'm just not excited
Right.
about it. He scares me. This other guy under him, let's just not even mention his name and keep on moving.
Right. Let's go ahead and talk about Mike
I
Evans.
can't hear him anymore.
We'll touch on these guys fairly quickly through wide receivers. Mike Evans going against Minnesota. I mean, I could, but I wouldn't play him in cash. GPP for sure.
Yeah.
Crabtree against Washington, highest projected total on the slate. Him and Amari are in play. So
Yeah, I think Crabtree could be a good cash game
yeah,
play
I
or
like him.
tournament play. I think he's
So you're
safe. Cooks at this point is
yeah,
only GPP. You
I
can't
wouldn't
play
play him
Cooks,
against
even
Houston.
if like he's the only wide
Right.
receiver. It just, gosh, man, he was in a good spot last week, and he just
I'm
doesn't perform.
honestly
He
not
just,
feeling I mean, because we were on Brandon Cooks, I saw Keenan right under him. I'm not on Keenan that much. I understand that he's got a good rapport with Rivers, and this game might stay close. I'll be on Keenan a little bit, but he's not somebody I look at and I'm just in love with. Especially when you got guys like Golden Tate going against Atlanta at 6,900. Um,
uh,
Jarvis Landry.
you don't like. Oh man,
You're
I'm
you're
opposite
huge
of
on
you. I'm
Keenan.
with
I mean, but
Keenan
you're
this week.
always on Keenan.
Yeah, he's my
Yeah.
AJ this week. Like you're on AJ and I'm lukewarm. I like Keenan and you're lukewarm, so we'll see. I might even be willing to do that bet with you.
I would
Keenan
be
versus
more willing to
AJ.
do that bet than the running back bet.
Well, you gave me the running back bet, so we'll figure this out. We'll put it out
That's
there
fine.
so you
Yeah,
can
we'll
tweet what
figure
the
it
bet
out.
is, and then
So
we'll
Jarvis
do that.
Landry will be solid at 68. That game's not going to stay competitive, I don't think. So that's the problem there. Kelvin Benjamin at home in Carolina versus New Orleans.
Oh, dude, I'm
You
super
love
high
him?
on Kelvin this week. Yeah, I love Kelvin Benjamin this week. Lost Greg
Yeah.
Olson. All right, they're up against New Orleans. Enough said.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's a
doesn't
good
matter. I
yeah.
could go be the quartext, and Kelvin Benjamin would go for like
Yeah, it's
300
a
yards
great.
and
They
four
wouldn't let you in the
touchdowns.
stadium the way you like these men. So next up, Tyreek Hill going against the Chargers. How do you feel?
Oh man, Tyreek Hill. Honestly, he's
I
a
agree.
GPP for me. I
He's
don't
not
think
safe
he's
for cash for
safe
me either.
at all.
Yeah, no.
You
If
know,
Sam Bradford plays, I'm definitely with Thielen and Diggs. How about you?
yeah, I really wanted to
Yeah,
play
me
them
too.
last week. I loved that game. I had bits and pieces of all of these guys in stacks all over the place, and I was in a mad dash to change it Sunday morning like a dummy. So this week I won't be in the same spot. I'm not even gonna play them, and if I do find out Sam Bradford, I'll go and change a few, and
Yeah. I'm not gonna
not
go
stress
too
about
hard
it
on
too
him. Even
much.
if I mean, if Bradford plays, I'll have him in a few maybe, or maybe just one, just to see how it goes. But
So if Jimmy Graham doesn't play,
oh
so
yeah,
moving on,
yeah,
Doug
I love it.
Baldwin, are
I love
you?
it.
I think Yeah, I think Doug Baldwin, this could be a bounce back, finally ready to explode. I hope. I'm gonna play him some. He's been letting us down, but I'm gonna give him a shot this week. I think this might be a good matchup. I think Tennessee is going to
Oh,
win this game.
it,
From what
yeah.
oh, hey, they are favored by
Yeah, no,
one, at
yeah,
least the
yeah,
opening
yeah.
line. They
I
were,
was flabbergasted by that too while I was doing the YouTube video. When I saw the Vegas line. Yeah, they've got Tennessee really doing their thing here. Uh I mean, yeah, Seattle's
yeah.
offensive line
So
is really bad, but Seattle's defense is still very, very solid. I don't know if Tennessee's going to
yeah,
be able to move the ball. So I don't know. We'll see.
right.
It'll
I
be
see.
okay. It'll be like an average, mediocre
Doug's
game.
Doug's worth it. Doug's worth a
Yeah, he's worth
spot.
the
Doug's
spot.
worth a spot.
Devontae Parker against the Jets. I'm cool with it. Yeah, I'm cool with
Yeah.
it. You said you like Jay Cutler, so I'm sure you like Devontae.
Yeah. Dude, this is a super high risk GPP play only, but he's one of my favorite GPPs of the week,
Oh,
DeAndre
love him.
Hopkins.
Yeah, I mean, New England's going to get up,
Yeah.
and DeAndre's going to get like 50 targets like he does every game. I mean,
Right. He's had 29
yeah, it's
targets through two
ridiculous.
weeks. 16 week one and
It's
13 week
ridiculous.
two. He's getting targeted and he'll continue to get targeted. And I kind of, I think now that they don't have
Right.
Savage in there,
Oh,
I think
yeah,
that helps
it
a
does.
little bit. We'll see. Give
It
another
makes,
week
well,
of
it makes defenses kind
practice.
of recognize the ability for this quarterback to run. You know what I'm saying? They have to recognize his
Right.
legs too, so that opens up a little bit for Hopkins as well. Um,
And I mean,
oh
garbage
yeah,
time is a
it's a
thing.
big
I
deal.
mean, we could be garbage time complete fourth quarter, and DeAndre's
Yeah,
just getting
DeAndre could
dump offs
get
of
10
weak
targets in the fourth quarter
defenses.
in this game. Seriously. Yeah.
That would
Okay.
be awesome. But
Randall Cobb's banged up.
anyways,
We'll have to watch out for that. Same thing with Hogan.
and Hogan, but don't you like both of these guys if
Yeah.
they're good to go?
I mean, like I said with game script for the Green Bay game, I like Cincinnati's side of it. I just feel like there's more upside with their side.
Okay,
And when it comes to Chris
gotcha.
Hogan, it's Houston, man. I mean, maybe Hogan gets in the end zone once if he plays, but that's it. You know, I don't know, man.
Right. They're just so banged up, and they don't have any options on both of these teams that these guys suit up. I like their opportunities, and their ownership is going to be down because of the
Agree.
questionable tax all week, and because of what we're talking about. So at 6,000 and 6,100, I could see taking chances with
So
both of these
the wide
guys. But all
receivers
right,
that are going to end up being in the Hall of Fame because they have Simeon throwing them the ball. You got Demarius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. What do you think of those guys?
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sleep on Simeon anymore, so
You
I
can't.
can't sleep
You
on these
can't sleep on
guys.
Simeon. Better than Peyton
I
Manning.
might sleep. Like you might think I'm gonna sleep
No,
with
I
them,
wouldn't be
but no.
surprised, dude. So, anyways, let's move on. Yeah.
They're not on my list, so
Okay.
you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about that. All right, Chris, they're safe, Kristen. Don't worry. No, but no. So Demarius, I'm willing to play him. I wouldn't go as far as like double
No.
stacking or
Yeah.
anything like that with these guys, but I would do Simeon and Demarius and maybe a Simeon and Emmanuel. Do two, throw two out there just for
I'm with that.
fun, see what
I
happens.
mean, right there
Uh,
around those guys, Terrell Pryor. I like him a lot. I think against Oakland, I think he ends up having the best game of his year so far.
yeah. So I haven't been on him yet. Uh, when we first looked at it, like before week one back in preseason, it's like, oh man, Terrell Pryor, and then I kind of got off of it. I think I'm going to lock and load Terrell
Yeah,
Pryor
I think
into
this
my
is the week you do
lineups
it
this
for
week.
sure.
I'm liking
I mean,
liking him.
last game they played in, it just wasn't. It was a fluke, I think. I mean, he only got 2 catches. That's not going to happen, especially against Oakland, where they're going to need that offense to really click hard. And Thompson's not going to get 2 touchdowns in majority of games, so that's just not going to happen like that again. Terrell Pryor is going to get a lot of target. I mean, he's going to be a solid play. I love him. I love how big he is. I love that he trained with Antonio Brown in the offseason. I just love his chances of having like his most productive year by far this year. It's starting off slow, but he's going to be solid.
Yeah,
Martavis
I
Bryant.
think so. Hey, he's finally starting to click. You remember a couple years ago when he like came in, had back to back like
Right.
mega touchdown
Happened
games
again.
and stuff like that. He might be starting a new streak. We'll see, and until he gets
Right.
suspended again. So hey, ride that
Until yeah,
Martavis
until
train
he
as
gets
far
suspended.
as you can. But no, game script. There's just other guys I like. Like if we just drop not Thielen, obviously, if Bradford doesn't play, but right below that, I mean, who else is Green Bay going to throw to right
Right.
now? I think Devontae Adams. I'm going to be tempted to lock him in a lot of my lineups if
Oh
Cobb is
yeah.
out
Oh
and
yeah. You know,
Jordy is
Devontae
out.
is locked in nearly all my lineups if those two guys are out. Jay Crowder against Oakland. That's another. I'm gonna skip by Ty Hilton, T.Y. Hilton, and Brandon Marshall because they're
Uh,
non-existent.
what about
If
Danny
he plays,
Amendola if he
maybe.
plays?
Yeah, a
Your
little bit
interest a
because
little
he
bit?
gets
Okay.
targeted.
All right. So who'd you
Jay
drop
Crowder
to?
against
Jay
Oakland.
Crowder?
Yeah, I
Jamison
like it.
Crowder? Okay, yeah. Yeah, definitely. He's in that best game of the
Yep.
week. And I love the Sunday night games when they're, especially when they're the best game of the week like this, the highest scoring total projected. Uh, everybody shows up for that Sunday night game, and we're all gonna be watching it in prime time. I just love the feeling of going into prime time with guys
Right,
playing. You
exactly.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I like to have some
It's just
involvement in those
fun.
primetime games. And I mean, it seems like
I hate that
the
Corey Coleman got
stars.
hurt.
I mean, not even just the stars. Players in general, when they're on primetime, they seem to show up They seem to go a little harder.
Yeah, I think so. And those games, I mean, you know what? Maybe this week I'll dive into statistics on what time games are being played versus their team totals and see if there's any kind of
Right,
trend that proves our little hypothesis there. But it definitely feels that
for
way,
sure.
you know. And it's just fun to go into that Sunday night game with guys
Um,
playing for you, especially if you had a good potential
exactly.
team that
Yeah, you want to have
has a
that
nice
last
sweat,
boost
you
at the
know.
end. For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna name some. Now that we're at this cheaper part, I'm gonna go through and name some names of the cheap guys that I like here. So I like Galladay against
Okay.
Atlanta. Deshaun Jackson against
Yeah.
Minnesota. No, thank you. Sorry, we got Curse. Jermaine Curse.
Jermaine Curse.
Jermaine Curse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's in play for me this week.
for
I'm
sure.
I'm on him.
I like him.
Sorry,
Mohamed
go ahead.
Sanu, I talked about him in the beginning of the podcast. I think the presence of Darius Slay is going to open up some receptions for Mohamed Sanu in this one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Kendall
Kendall
Wright's
Wright,
still the
still that
guy.
dude. He's going to get those targets, and he's
That
in
game
play.
flow should be
The
in
whole
his
Detroit
favor.
team, including the Water Boys, are in play, so I got to go with Marvin Jones. Yep.
Marvin Jones. Yep.
Ted Ginn going against Carolina, the team he was on last. Yeah, a little revenge
Revenge
narrative.
narrative for Gang.
3 touchdowns, 300 yards. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
That's funny.
Kenny Britt could be a sneaky one now with Coleman hand broken. I know that Higgins took over and did very very well, and I'm on him. I definitely noticed him. I like
Yeah.
Higgins. He looked very good, but keep an eye on Britt too. I wouldn't be surprised if he catches a
Okay.
touchdown or two with that big frame he's got.
Yeah, but I don't like
No,
betting on
yeah,
father
he's old,
time. That
and
dude's
it's not. I'm
old.
not saying it's
I'd
safe. Yeah, I
I'm
would
going
GPP him
Higgins.
only, obviously, but yeah,
Yeah.
Higgins, like we said, Higgins, love him. Higgins is also a guy. I'm not going to throw in cash. I'm going to throw him in GPP. I mean, he, I after one good game, I
Re-
don't feel
uh,
super safe with him yet. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, since you're on Cincinnati bandwagon, Brandon LaFell play for you at 37.
Partly. I mean, I could play him in GPP. I might just go to that a little bit when it comes to GPP, but not. I mean, I'm more on AJ. I think AJ has his game. Finally. Anybody
Okay.
you like?
You find any low guys? I
Like
haven't
super
really
super low.
found anybody that speaks out to me.
Yeah.
Maybe Travis
What
Benjamin
about
I
our
could be
boy
interested
Robbie
in.
Anderson?
Robbie, yeah, I
I
just got
don't
to him.
like him, and it's a total GPP flyer,
Dude,
but
Miami's defense
they're
is
not.
not that great. I remember preseason, I was like, man, I'm going to be
Yeah,
picking
they're
on
not
them
good.
all year. And I understand the Jets are horrible, but there's going to be some guys. But then again, we mentioned him up at the top. I think I was more on Jermaine Curse for that role to this week. But maybe. I mean, if I make a team and I want to go, studs and scrubs, I might do something like that. I got to find some of these cheap guys, but that's about it as
Yeah,
far as
I
wide
agree.
receiver. I think our
Yeah.
value is going to be tight ends is going to be
I
pretty interesting
really
this
like
week.
some tight ends, and I'm gonna go ahead and start it off. I'm not even gonna talk about Gronk at this moment because there's somebody I like so much.
Yeah.
I really
Okay.
like Zach Ertz. We talked about him in the
Yeah.
beginning when we brought up Wentz. I love Ertz against New York. I love him. He's my favorite
Yep.
one of them. At least if Jordan Reed plays, I'll probably
Yeah.
throw him in a few. But you're always scared of a little head collision and him being out. So
No, if I'm spinning
yeah,
up, it's Ertz. I don't even think I can justify paying for Kelsey when Ertz is 1,000 cheaper at 5,000. So Kelsey 6 and Ertz at
Right.
5. We have a lot of
Oh
injuries
yeah,
and banged
and
up with Gronk,
yeah,
Reed,
yeah.
Olsen, and Jimmy Graham. So really, it's Ertz. Honestly, is going to be 50%, and then I'm probably going to mix in a
Like
bunch of the
Doyle.
lower level
Doyle,
guys.
3,600. I love this motherfucker. I literally think he's gonna go crazy versus Cleveland. Am I crazy?
I'm
Dude,
not jumping on Doyle. He could. I'm
Doyle,
not jumping on him.
Doyle,
That's all I'm saying.
Doyle.
I like okay. Before we get down to the, let's just throw out some more names real quick. Kobe
Yeah,
Fleener obviously is still in play with Snead
yeah,
out on his suspension, but Marty B, everybody's banged up. Okay, if Jordy and Cobb
agree.
are all out, I think Marty B is gonna
Yep.
get some play here. Hunter Henry is a decent option that I wouldn't mind throwing out there. I'm still not gonna play Hooper. His price,
Yeah.
I'm just not on it. I like getting down to the other side of the Atlanta
Ebron.
Detroit game, and I like Ebron, yeah, and Even Ingram.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like
I
all
like
those
Doyle.
guys.
And I'm not gonna change it. I like Doyle against Cleveland, man. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold
Hold on,
on,
there was some.
hold on. Doyle, let me talk to you for a second. If you're listening to this podcast, Jack, I need you, Jack. I'm playing you, Jack. Let's go, Jack, for real. Seriously. All right, no, but seriously though, I mean, he got what? 8 targets, and guess how many catches he had? He's the goat.
Hey,
Who was the last guy you want to talk
oh,
about? I'm done
Jack
with tight ends.
Doyle.
Go ahead.
Hold on, there's a couple. Let me throw them out there real quick. So we got one guy coming back from suspension, Austin Safarian Jenkins against the Miami team. I do like that play. Okay, he's pretty talented. He's shown some flashes in the past, so I want to try him on a few and see that. But no, I wanted to drop down to the injury guys. So Ed Dixon coming in.
Right,
I'm willing to roll Ed Dixon out if I need to really save some money because I'm going
right.
stars and
I'm with you.
scrubs.
I like it.
And let's see, there was see in our slate. Oh no, okay, never mind. He plays on Thursday, I
Yeah, so
guess.
you won't be
So
getting him.
okay, yeah,
All
so
right,
never
so
mind. All
yeah,
right, so yeah, that's all for the main slate that
okay.
I won't
Let's
I
talk
care
about
about
defense. There's
honestly,
very few of them that I'm interested in.
and then roll out.
We're gonna touch on defense and then
Okay.
we're gonna ride out. Make sure you guys go to greenlightdfs.com if you're interested in joining the squad for the Lions. Last week we did great, and it's time to go ahead and copy that performance week 3. So if you're interested, go to greenlightdfs.com. Last but not least, defenses. Who are the defenses that you're targeting? I'm just gonna say a few names. You might agree with me. I'm going either Patriots or Steelers. I like Patriots and Steelers. What are the guys you like?
All right, well, Denver, I like. And then the cheap one that I'm got a feeling on, well, it's not, there's a couple. There's Tampa Bay if
Right, like it.
Bradford does not play. I think that could be good. And then I'll go all the way down to 2,700, and I'm taking advantage of that
Titans.
Seattle
I mean,
offensive
yeah.
line
GPP
with
guy.
this Tennessee
Yeah.
team. It's a risk. It's a risk, but if I need to save that money and I want to spend up, I just want to take advantage and see what happens. You know, Seattle has not impressed me so far. Their 2 games, they haven't been scoring very well, and I just like Tennessee as a flyer. Also, the Giants haven't been that impressive, and I've been liking Philly's defense, so I
Right.
think Philly
They
could
could.
be sneaky.
There's a
So
few, but
there's a
there's none
couple
that
of
really
the
just stick
lower
out and just look
options I
super
like.
sexy. Like I don't get that feeling
Right,
on.
right. New England is pretty much it's
Yeah.
the
Houston's going to
safest
turn the ball over.
defense we have. They're at home. They're going to be up, and exactly Houston's going to be trying to
Honestly, I'm going to
keep
keep it
up, and
real.
that
I'll
is a
probably
recipe for
put Patriots in
disaster.
every line, just because I just don't want to deal with it. It's defense. They're 38. It's not going to break the bank. It's fine. I might go GPP with the Titans. I like your thinking in that. With that Seattle offensive line like it is. So GPP, I might roll with Titans. All the rest of them, I'm going Patriots. Yeah.
Patriots, no
No,
messing with
no,
Denver
I'm not gonna do
against
that.
Buffalo. No.
No, thank you.
And see, I just don't think Miami's defense is good enough to hurt
No, I
the
think yeah, I think the
Jets
Jets
as
find a way
much
to
as we think. I
score.
want to pick on the Jets, but
Jets are gonna
not
find a
with
way to
Miami.
score somehow.
Yeah.
All right, guys, are we good? Did we cover everything?
Hey, and just to go against you, I would probably throw in a Green Bay
That's ridiculous.
against Cincinnati.
That's the most ridiculous thing you've ever said. On that note, because he's out of his mind, we're going to go ahead and end this podcast. Thank you guys for joining us as always. Me and my uncle are out. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check. We're going to do these more often now, so definitely make sure you follow me on SoundCloud. Follow the Fantasy Locker Room on SoundCloud. You can download it on there. That way you can go to the gym, turn your phone off, all that cool shit, and listen at the same time too. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and we are out.
Good luck.